Hey there, Stars fans. Watching last night's game from a Washington perspective was like a little bit like watching an episode of Beavis and Butthead, where they were just like, "Hey Beavis, does this mean we're finally gonna score?" No, no, it doesn't mean you're gonna score at Washington. They get shut out 1-0 by your Dallas Stars. They just they just couldn't find the hole. Um, Post left and right. We'll take a little bit of that fortuitousness, and we now have three in a row. We've beaten Carolina, Nashville, and now Washington. Going into the game, we re-signed Harley to an 8-year, $10.6 million a year contract. So we're going to see a lot of him and his offensive prowess on the back end. A lot to look forward to there. It was a old school, low scoring game. Good pace to the game. I wouldn't call it boring by any stretch of the imagination. I personally like those low scoring defensive goaltending battles, and we sure got one here last night. I thought Otter looked pretty dialed in. He got his saves and his more subtle positional style that we see out of him. Not diving around and making the crazy saves like the old school goalies, but he got it done, and that's all that matters. And let's go into the scoring. There was just one of them. It was in the second period on a power play. Sagan after Colin Wilson. Sagan got it after Colin Wilson accused Foxa of diving. He was given these gestures and these flops. Colin Wilson's. I love Colin Wilson. I know a lot of people hate him. I can see why you do, but he is entertaining. And anyway, the refs did not care what he thought. They stuck him in the box, and Sagan sends a pass from the left boards across the ice, and it gets a lucky bounce off of Capitals player's stick, goes in the back of the net. That would be all that we saw of the light lamp last night. We had a great game out of Leon Bischel, who had his most physical game of the year with 8 hits. That's a lot of hitting for the big boy. Nathan Bastian had 6 hits. That was his most physical game as well. Adam Ernie had 5. I think that's probably the most that he's put up as well. Between the three of them, they had 2/3 of the total team hits of 30 on the game, and we ended up out hitting the Capitals to the tune of 30-22. And I know a lot of people think that hitting is overrated, and sometimes it can be indicative of you not having the puck as much. But I see hits. I think there's a fine line. I mean, if you've got just a ton of hits, that means you don't have the puck very much, or it's a playoff game and everybody's hitting everything in sight. But if you're in this sweet spot of where you're not looking at, the team had 12 hits on the game. When you have 30 hits, that means that your team is emotionally engaged. That means that there's effort there, that there's that certain level of give a shit that you need to win a hockey game. So I love seeing that. Plus, it's entertaining. Who doesn't love to see bodies flying everywhere? I sure do. So, Leon, going back to Leon Bischel, he got in a battle with Ovi after the play. I was laughing at that. Leon Bischel was also in a great battle with Protus, who's another big old boy. He's like 6'6", 250, and they were battling in front of the net. He ended up not taking a penalty in this big old battle. So fun to watch him engaged with one of the other Clydesdales of the league. More physical play. Blackwell took a hit from behind into the boards. He was really slow to get up, and I was like, oh no, here we go again. Are we really going to lose another player off of the depth chart to injury? He ended up getting up. He was in a lot of pain on the bench, but he kept playing. There was no retaliation there on that, and being that it was hit from questionable hit from the behind, I would have liked to have seen at least something coming from our side. Obviously, you don't want to take a penalty in such a low scoring affair, but you know, you got to do something. And the defense, all in all, looked tighter and has been looking tighter as the season has progressed, which is good to see. Speaking of defense, Kyle Capibianco was there. I didn't even notice him out there until I checked the box score. He had 442 of ice time, which is less than any goon used to get back in the day on the fourth line. I question why you even put someone in there if you're going to play him for less than 5 minutes. But he did get a little cup of coffee, so good for him there. Um, we had a power play chance later in the third period, and I was thinking to myself, this is a big opportunity to put a little separation between us and our opponent. We didn't, and we had a couple big stops on that on that power play by Thompson and net for them, and kept him in there. It was really good goaltending on both ends of the ice. I thought after we didn't get that goal on the power play to go up by two, I had this feeling that we're going to have to kill another penalty to put this one in the books, and we did. We had a late power play by the Capitals with 5 minutes left, and Otter stopped a great one on a redirect in front of the net. It was just another game that was a nail biter to the end, all in all. I saw some good things out of Miko, or rather Miro. Both Miko and Miro had a good game. Miko ended up pulling up an assist on that one goal by Sagan. He just racks up points no matter what, it seems like. But Miko, there was an interesting speak going back to the physicality. This guy Frank on their team tried to take a run at him, ends up hitting him, I think, in the ass, and just messes him up. It was like hitting a freight train, and I think Miko was laughing about it on the bench. It was he is just a physical specimen, that Mikko Rantanen. He is quite the horse. So another good game in the books for the Dallas Stars. I like looking at who's out there at the big moments of the game and towards the end. Maverick Bork was out there. I know we got a lot of guys out, but that's a big vote of confidence for a guy like Maverick to be put out there with an empty net in a crucial moment. He ends up hitting a post. I'm sure he would have loved to have had that shot again as a redo. And then at the end of the game, Robo lays down and blocks another shot in the last minute, or at least he tried to block a shot. I don't know if it hit him or not, but the effort is there. I really love what I've seen out of Robo in the early goings of this season, and I think his production is just bound to pick up. He's near a point a game right now, but I think he's, especially when he gets some of his buddies back in the top six, I think you're going to see him racking up some points. Maybe he'll crack 100 again this year. Wouldn't that be fun to see? So, Stars end up getting outshot by the tune of 24-19. Still ended up getting the win on that. I mean, that's fine. That's acceptable. We're used to seeing Stars getting outshot by 35-19, and that's where we can get ourselves just mathematically in trouble. And so it's good to see them in the last handful of games getting away from that nonsense. The Stars were 3 for 3 on the penalty kill, so it was good to see their struggling penalty kill give the other team an offer on the night. We ended up going 1 for 4 on the power play, so that's 25%. That's pretty decent. That will I think bring our numbers down a little bit, but you know, if you're cranking at that rate, that is very good, and that's one of the reasons why we're doing so well in the early goings of this season, at least in the standings, has been our power play. Turnovers. We were on the right side of the turnover matchup. They had 15 turnovers to our 10. Um, I gotta say, I'm happy we got the win here. We have been getting a lot of lucky bounces lately. They were hitting a handful of posts again here tonight, and we're getting accidental goals for. Miro got a 2-goal game off of 2 accidental goals, lucky bounces the other night. Sagan got one here tonight. As far as I'm concerned, with as many injuries as we have right now, we'll take a little luck. We've survived. If we can continue to survive through this injury bug, assuming that it ends, knock on wood over here, then we're going to be in really good position once we get all of our players back and we really get to see what this team is made of. Because right now, we haven't really seen what this team is really capable of with even a small resemblance to what they should look like when you stick back in Jamie Benn, Duchesne, and Hintz, and of course Lundqvist being out too doesn't help. So, if you look at what we're eking by, we haven't had any wins that have been more than by 1 goal. And I'm counting the Minnesota 5-2 win as one of those because 2 of them were empty netters. So really, that's a 3-2 game there, and all the rest have been by 1 goal that we've won as well. So if you look at our overall goal differential, which I think is one of the best indicators of how dominant your team is, if you look at us in the standings, we're now in the top third of the league. I think we're 9th overall. Our goal differential is only a -1. So that is the same as the New York Islanders, to put it in perspective, who are 5th from the bottom. Nonetheless, Dallas is still in the wild card 1 spot. 3 in a row is damn fine to see. We've got Tampa Bay tomorrow, and I look forward to that one. If you want to ask me any questions to address in coming shows, you can reach me at thefoilhockey@gmail.com. That is THEFOIL hockey@gmail.com. Until the next one, you guys have a good day.